Amid rising global geopolitical tensions, the United States is facing a serious military intelligence leak. And what's even more shocking, the person at the center of this scandal is none other than Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, a figure who sparked controversy upon taking office. A politician who doesn't follow the traditional playbook and a highly influential member of the U.S. administration. Yet now, the name Pete Hegseth is being tied to one of the most severe national security scandals in recent history. The classified information leak has spread rapidly, prompting the Pentagon to launch an urgent investigation. Was this an unfortunate mistake, or was it a deliberate act? How far-reaching will the consequences of this incident be? And most importantly, can Pete Hegseth hold on to his position of power after this shocking scandal? To better understand this shocking leak, we first need to take a closer look at Pete Hegseth and why he has become such a central figure in American politics. Pete Hegseth was born on June 6, 1980. Pete Hegseth is a former officer in the Army National Guard. He served in Iraq and Afghanistan, earning several military honors for his bravery and service. After leaving the military, Hegseth became a prominent commentator on Fox News, focusing on military affairs, national security, and political issues. Hegseth's stance has always been clear. He advocates for a strong America, prioritizing national interests and opposing what he sees as weak diplomatic policies. This approach made him a close ally of President Donald Trump. During Trump's presidency, Hegseth served as an informal advisor on military and national security matters. He frequently criticized the Pentagon for what he viewed as weak and ineffective policies. However, when the new administration sought a strong, decisive figure to lead the Department of Defense, a controversial decision was made. Pete Hegseth, a man with no high-level government management experience, was unexpectedly appointed as the U.S. Secretary of Defense. Many military experts warned that this appointment could lead to serious consequences. Could someone with a hardline stance but no leadership experience effectively run a massive institution like the Department of Defense? And then, just a few months into his tenure, those concerns became a reality. A classified information leak occurred, and Pete Hegseth quickly became the focus of a major investigation. A recent top-secret information leak has sent shockwaves through U.S. politics, placing Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth at the center of a major investigation. The controversy erupted when a private signal chat, where Hegseth and high-ranking officials discussed classified U.S. military strategies in the Middle East, was unexpectedly exposed. The chat contained sensitive discussions on troop deployments, covert operations, and even assessments of key allies and adversaries in the region. However, the most alarming aspect of the breach wasn't just the classified content. It was an unthinkable mistake. A journalist was accidentally added to the group. Sources remain unclear on who added the journalist or whether it was a simple oversight or a deliberate act. Regardless of intent, the consequences could be severe. Upon realizing they had access to these classified exchanges, the journalist immediately alerted authorities. This incident has sparked serious concerns over the security of classified communications within the U.S. government. Moreover, it could strain diplomatic relations with allied nations and jeopardize military strategies in the Middle East. If this top-secret intelligence falls into the wrong hands, the consequences could be catastrophic. Immediately after the classified information leak was exposed, the U.S. political and military landscape was thrown into turmoil. Major newspapers such as the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Politico swiftly published reports on the incident, raising serious concerns about national security. During press briefings at the Pentagon, several defense officials dodged direct questions from reporters, emphasizing only that an investigation was underway and that strict measures would be taken. However, this ambiguity only fueled public skepticism about the severity of the breach. One of the biggest questions raised by the public is, does Pete Hegseth have the competence to remain as Secretary of Defense? This incident not only highlights a reckless mishandling of top-secret information, but also casts doubt on his leadership capabilities. Some members of Congress have called for a formal hearing to determine Hegseth's responsibility. Meanwhile, political opponents have gone even further. urging the president to consider his removal in order to protect the administration's credibility. Beyond the political fallout, this leak could also have dire security implications. U.S. defense officials worry that adversaries like China, Russia, or Iran may have already accessed or exploited the leaked information to adjust their military strategies. In a time of escalating global tensions and multiple conflict hotspots, even the slightest oversight could lead to unpredictable consequences. Cybersecurity experts warn that even if classified information has not been widely disseminated, this incident sets a dangerous precedent. It exposes a significant vulnerability in the U.S. government's handling of confidential data and could undermine the trust of American allies. If allied nations begin to doubt the security of their military intelligence when shared with the U.S., they may limit cooperation or seek to reduce their reliance on Washington in defense matters. As the investigation unfolds, pressure on Pete Hegseth continues to mount. The biggest question now is, can he survive this crisis? Or will this scandal mark the end of the political career of one of the most controversial figures in the administration? In U.S. history, several secretaries of defense have been forced to resign due to serious national security failures. If the ongoing investigation determines that Hegseth bears direct or indirect responsibility for the leak, the possibility of him being forced to step down is entirely plausible. However, one key factor complicating the situation is Pete Hegseth's close relationship with Donald Trump. As a staunch ally of the former president, Hegseth has consistently received strong support from conservative circles. Trump has publicly praised him multiple times on social media, calling him a true patriot and a warrior who never backs down. If Trump publicly defends Hegseth, it could put reverse pressure on Congress and the Pentagon, forcing them to carefully reconsider any decision regarding his fate. At the same time, public outrage over the incident is growing. Some voter groups fear that this leak could compromise national security and damage the United States' standing on the global stage. If Hegseth is found responsible for the leak, he could face three possible scenarios. First, he might voluntarily resign to avoid further damage to the administration. Second, he could be fired if public and congressional pressure becomes overwhelming. Third, he may attempt to hold on to his position, backed by Trump and right-wing allies, while blaming the scandal on a supposed political conspiracy against him. Regardless of the outcome, controversy is sure to spark debate for a long time. Will Pete Hegseth survive the storm? Or is this the end of his political career? The answer remains uncertain. After all, this classified information leak involving Pete Hegseth is not just a personal scandal. It raises critical questions about national security, the accountability of high-ranking officials, and the transparency of the U.S. government. If this was merely a personal mistake, how could a Secretary of Defense make such a grave security error? Or does this incident expose deeper systemic issues in the government's handling of classified information? Many believe this could be just the tip of the iceberg, and the Pentagon's investigation may uncover even more alarming details. If there was deliberate negligence or even an intentional leak, who will be held accountable? More importantly, what lessons will the U.S. government learn from this crisis to prevent similar incidents in the future? No matter what the truth is, this scandal is far from over and will likely have significant political repercussions. Hegseth is under immense pressure from both inside and outside the government, and his future as Secretary of Defense remains highly uncertain. What do you think about this case? Can Pete Hegseth survive the crisis, or is this the end of his political career? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for the latest breaking news and in-depth analysis.